Okay, so I wanted to do a video basically on this, on my perception on humans and why I run my channel the way I do. Okay, so, if you didn't realize, from the beginning of my channel, I have many of the time, had situations where I did not tell people to like my videos, to subscribe to my channel, to comment down below. Those were things I usually did not say. And the reason why I never really liked to say that was because of my expectation of humans. Some people perceive humans in a very positive light, and they think that humans can be kind, caring, they can be emotional, they can be basically good human beings, I guess you could say. My thing is, I've never thought humans can be that way to me. I think they can be those things. I've seen them be those things to others, but not particularly to me. The only time they would be able to do that to me is if they didn't think I was me, basically. If they aren't looking at me, they can be very nice, you know. But if they are looking at me, they will always be who they are, you know. And the reason why humans are this way, to me, in my opinion, is not really to say humans are bad people. I don't think humans are specifically just bad innately. I think they are animals, basically. When I say that, it's just kind of like a situation where animals, like dogs, for example, are kind of like this. You know how a dog has the capacity of a 2-year-old, right? But a dog just basically sniffs a human, and they basically decide if that human is good or bad. If they love that human or not is based off of a sniff. A human is quite the same. A human basically goes off of a sniff to determine if a person is good or bad. They don't use logic, basically. And the reason I say this is because if your only reaction to someone is how they look and being in front of them as being a negative reaction, and you wouldn't have a negative reaction towards them if you were talking to them on the phone, if you were typing to them and you could not see them, if you don't have an issue with their personality, you just have an issue with looking at them, then that tells me that you are one of those that, you look at, you respond to something you basically feel rather than something that is actually tangible. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying with this whole situation is humans are very non-tangible when they basically judge a human being. They're more so touchy, like they're a feely type of person, like they're into their feelings rather than actually judging a person by who the person is, basically. And so from my perspective, it's always been like, I've always seen humans as, for example, when it comes to my channel, people are looking at my videos, right? So if I was to ask for a subscription or ask for a like, to me, it's kind of like, well, I am going to probably get a no, because one, think of it this way. How am I supposed to understand what is the question of asking someone to like your video, asking someone to subscribe to your channel? What is that question? The question is specifically just a question of basically asking if someone likes you, likes your channel, likes your content. You get what I'm saying? From my perspective, it's always been like, well, I don't think that obviously anyone would like me because they see me. And to me, it's kind of like, why would I expect anyone to like my channel or like me or like anything in regards to my channel when all I've ever experienced with humans was that they didn't like me? You know what I mean? My point and my purpose of my channel is not to have anyone like me, is what I'm trying to say. My point and purpose of my channel is to talk my point of view, basically, and for people to agree with that point of view. See, in my life, I've learned that the only way I get anywhere is by doing things, basically. Doing something that you can't disagree with. For example, at my job, the past jobs that I've had and the job that I have, it's basically this. You may not like me, but you like what I do. And that's the point and purpose of why I basically do what I do. You know, it's basically for you to like the product that I bring out, not for you to like me. And yes, this has been a dynamic that is pretty shitty, I must admit, because, you know, someone you dislike has to put in a lot of work, obviously, than someone you like, for example. If you have someone that you like, basically, you know, you kind of see that person as, you know, not needing to go the extra mile to basically impress you, you know, to promote you, to a higher position in your job and so forth, you know. So to me, I mean, that's always been the struggle for me. But I've always been like, to just have a seat at the table. My thing is to work very hard so, you know, you can actually like what I bring forth, you know. And that's how I am with my channel. You can see that I do put in a lot of hard work. You can see that I do bring in basically my point of view, and I don't really change from that. I have my point of view. I have that type of talking point, and if someone agrees with it, they agree with it, you know. That's more what my channel is about, you know. But I guess my point in making this video is just to basically say that my channel is run a lot differently than other people's channels because other people experience favorability with humans, while I do not, basically. I really rarely get any favorability from humans. That's a very odd concept to me. If anyone actually tried to say they liked me, in my experience, when that's done, it's not actually truth because it will happen where in a few minutes, in a few hours, at the longest, maybe a week, the person will change and actually show their true colors of actually trying to use some way to deceive or whatever, or not really just to deceive, really. It's more so, like, for example, say, for example, take the example with, like, the whole Bossy Empress situation. For, like, a week, she tried to pretend she liked me, and then she tried to lure me to her live chat to basically blast me. See, that's a good example of how, if there's ever a time when anyone has ever tried to pretend they like me, it's always been in the sense of a ploy, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And so, because of that, it's always been to me like, I do not trust, do not believe, do not think humans have that ability, to have that capability to actually like me, to ever like my, who I am as a person, basically. But I do think that they can have the ability to like things that I bring forth, basically. They can like, for example, my they can like my hard work. They can also like my devotion. They can like, for example, at my old jobs, um I had this sense of such devotion and, focus on my job. um it was like, for me, my jobs were like the loves of my life. They were like an intimate relationship that I felt like was a very valued partner, intimate partner, basically. Um, that's how I felt about my jobs. Even though they were just jobs, they weren't actually anything I was intimately involved with. You could say interaction for that matter, yes. I mean, my jobs have always been on the phone, and there's a reason for that because to me, in my experience, it's a lot easier to work on the phone because it's less interactive with people in real life. The people you work with in real life, it can be tumultuous at times. Like I said, you can get aggressive people, you can get angry people, you can get people who want to basically treat you like crap, but on the phone, they really do not do that. In my experience, people have always acted like phone work was basically where people were really aggressive to them on the phone, but in real life, your coworkers were, I guess, more positive to you. Mine has never been that kind of experience. My experience has always been where the people on the phone were much more positive to me than the people in real life. And people would think that, how could that be? Because you would think that the people on the phone expect calls that they are not specifically friendly with, welcoming towards, they don't really want, you know. In this case, though, with the job that I had, I've never been a telemarketer or anything of that nature. Um, so that's not really my position. And usually they'll have a little relief from the fact that we aren't people who sell things or anything like that. We're just generally trying to figure out how they feel about their community and things of that nature. But anyway, my point is, my experience with my job was always a sense of, the people on the line were much more positive and like they actually wanted to do the calls with me in particular. While, like, in real life, I always experienced situations where it was more hostility against me for working and actually bringing in the top produced data, basically, because I was a top producer. I was like one of the best, if not the best, at my job. And that could be because, like I said, the main interaction that I had at my job was on the phone, was very positive. So for me, I really did like being on the phone and actually talking to people about their communities and things of that nature, and how basically they felt they could have certain things made better in their communities, or things they didn't need in their communities, and so forth. So, to me, it was a lot easier to talk to them than to actually interact with the people at my job who, liked my work but did not like me, you know. And that's especially how I move in my channel, basically. I move in my channel as if basically I'm not really concerned with. So, for example, I don't talk about like my personal life with you guys. You don't know what I did yesterday. You don't know what I am doing today. You don't know what I plan to do tomorrow. You know, you don't know anything about me. I don't bring my personal life here. And the reason I don't is because, well, one, I feel like, well, why would you want to know that? You know what I mean? There would be no reason you would want to know that, especially since, for example, if you understand that I think that all humans don't like me for who I am, then how would I ever expect a human to want to hear about that in a positive sense? I mean, in a negative sense, sure, like someone could use it to talk poorly about me in this way or another, but I mean, like, I'm not really interested in adding fuel to the fire on that. Like, what would that do for me? You understand, that wouldn't really be anything beneficial for me. Um, but you have to understand that for me, I'm not one who's going to really see it as beneficial to talk about anything specific to myself, you know. And to be completely honest, I mean, I have gone a long way when it comes to this whole situation because, like I said, I started out homeschooled, and I started out um, in a situation where I was basically only aware of the negativity of humans and of how people would perceive me. And the only way I ever learned how to get past that was by working hard and actually giving good results. It's not specifically about getting to know me, it's about not knowing me. And it's about actually not paying attention to who I am as a person or how I look or whatever energy one gets off of me, but actually paying attention to what I'm saying, paying attention to what I'm doing, paying attention to what the result is. That's more of how I go about interacting with humans, is there's always a there's always a product, there's always an end result, basically. There's always something at the end of that result that a human wants, other than myself, to benefit themselves. And that's the point of the interaction. There's no interaction that I have with a human being for a purpose of self enjoyment or a sense of well, not self enjoyment. I'll say with my old jobs, yes, self enjoyment was there to interact with human beings on the phone and things of that nature. Because, every human does need to socialize with human beings. And I'm not one who isn't, who doesn't need, to interact with human beings, you know. But my point is basically for the sense of why I specifically do what I do in any regard with humans usually is outside of, on the phone, is basically a situation where I am trying to basically get to some point, be it they are someone who works at a facility I am, patroning, and they are basically financially earning money off of me, basically, you know, being at their facility. Be it at a situation where I am basically talking about a specific topic that people will agree on, and come to a commonality on. Be it if I am working and I am basically giving a high amount of production and data to my company and to their clients. So, to me, that's basically why I specifically am the type who is not really interactive with my audience like that, to the sense of looking for favor. You can tell this too. I'm not one to really interact in a positive, I guess, way to basically have some kind of camaraderie with anybody on, here or in my regular life. I do not try to seek that with human beings. I've given up on that when I was a kid. Like, I mean, if, like, when I try to get some kind of camaraderie, it's not going to be with me in real life or you seeing me. It's more so a situation where I will do that if I'm on a phone or if I am typing, basically. You know. But yeah, that's just my perception on it. Um, I guess I will also play a video because I want to show the difference in how I interacted when I was really young as opposed to how I do as an older person. Um, and how I've learned to kind of like just try to get to the point rather than focus on actually trying to get some sense of favor from the audience. I will go over this in both videos, so here we go. Hi, this is Jessica from SigmaTex1 at vampirefreaks.com. This is the food sign, and this is me. So yeah, as you can see there, as I said before, I was stuttering. I was really, really scared to even speak, really had a hard time speaking. There are many times when I would try to talk and I would kind of like have this situation where I kind of choke up and get a little too scared to even speak, you know? So, I mean, there's that whole point and part to it, and of course, I mean, like when you are choked up in fear of human beings and things of that nature, it is harder to speak and try to, interact further with them because you get kind of like this racing feeling of kind of like racing thoughts of the idea that, people might be thinking this negatively or that negatively. That's how I was when I was that young. When I was 18, I was a little bit scared, you have to understand between 14 and 21, you can find many situations where at that age point you are trying to fit in at that age. When you're 21 to 28, you find that you are actually trying to just find who you are as a person and how you fit along society, just being yourself, and where you can fit along in society being yourself. You already accept who you are basically at that age. You're just trying to basically find a spot in society where you can belong. So, and when I say belong, I don't mean be accepted by society. I mean like living the adult life. You get what I'm saying? And just basically, how your work life is, how you get along with coworkers enough to, make money, you know, things of that nature. Continuing to this one. This is me when I was 26.
Be either. Could be either. Nobody should have to, Oh, I want to do a video on this topic that I've been meaning to make a video on for a while. Plenty of people have been, talking about who can or can't use the N-word on other YouTube videos I saw earlier this month, last month. And I even commented on one. People were trying to act like, can Hispanics use the N-word? Can they not? And I was like, honestly, if we're gonna be really, really honest, there's so many levels to this that people really don't really think about, in my opinion. And secondarily, it's a very easy, straightforward answer that people don't really want to face. I'm gonna deal with that one first. So, the N-word, it's like any other word. In America, we have the right to express ourselves, and we have our First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, things of that nature. That applies to people who are racist too, in any respect. And I know people.
And so in this video, you can see that I am able to speak pretty well, actually. And I'm not really having much of an issue, really, talking about what I'm talking about. But the issue that I do have, you can see in how I'm looking at the camera. And also, you can tell that I am trying to speak a little bit faster to get it all out, kind of thing. But, the main thing you can kind of notice here is the fact that I'm not looking at the camera. And the thing is, early on, I did have a very hard time looking at the camera because I felt like, okay, eye contact is a thing for me that I'm not really comfortable with all that much because I feel like it's a situation of trying to. Eye contact to me means you are comfortable with the person, and it also means that. To me, I feel like if you look at people in the eye, sometimes I feel like they're gonna get aggressive. So that's why I sometimes don't want to look. I don't like to give people eye contact as much because I feel like I don't know how they're going to react, basically. Like, if I felt like people would just act normally, and they wouldn't just get aggressive for no reason, then I would most likely be okay just, looking someone in the eye, and just being like. But many of the time, I feel like it's harder to do that in these situations because I feel like these people, I feel like people generally will have a negative reaction to me. And I honestly think, like, on videos and stuff, I expect a negative reaction, especially early on, especially since I experienced a lot of, negativity on YouTube in the past. Um, and that was a long time ago. I've had negativity in the past on YouTube, I think, since I was 16, I think. You know, I'm not really sure when I was 16 if I had negativity there or just elsewhere. Not really sure. I have some videos when I was wearing braids when I was like 16. Um, but yeah. So, anyway, like, I kind of like think that sometimes people don't really, understand, I guess you could say, why someone has a certain type of disposition. But I mean, like, if you only encounter people being aggressive or having some kind of issue or some kind of negativity towards you, then you're not going to be so open to really interact with them. And that's why, for me, I mean, nowadays, I have no issue looking into the camera. I have no issue talking, on my channel. There's no problem there. And most likely because, I mean, like, I've done this often enough where, it's not been an issue for me. But I mean, like, coming from what I came from, you can understand, it kind of makes sense why I would have a harder time, you know, basically interacting on my videos, basically. Either talking or, looking at a camera or and so forth. For me, nowadays, it's a lot easier because a part of me, you can even see here that I am having a situation where as time goes on, I get to a situation where I care less and less and less and less and less and less about other people, basically. And when I say that, I mean I care less about what they think. So when you care less about how someone thinks, one, your presentation might not be as nice as someone else's because you assume that the presentation is not the point, really, because the presentation has to do with your assumptions on me. Well, if my assumption on your assumption is negative, then why would I care about what your assumption is on me? You get what I'm saying? So that's the thing with me. It's just that I always assume that people have negative ideas of me or something about me negatively that you're going to think of me. So I don't really care about my presentation, really, you know. But it's actually created this sense of confidence, I guess you could say, where I mean, like, I don't have an issue, with certain things. Like, I don't have an issue talking, I don't have an issue with looking into the camera anymore. You know, you can see this with my most recent videos. I don't have any problems really in those regards. You know, more so, I mean, like, sometimes, you want to make sure your makeup's good and things of that nature. But I mean, like, those are just presentation things. But it's not like you're completely scared. As much as I was scared when I was 18, as much as I was scared 2 years ago to do videos. And honestly, that might be why I had much less videos long ago. I would go like maybe months or like a month without doing a video, or do like 2 or 3 videos and then be gone and so forth. I never really liked to do them back to back to back because it took so much energy out of me because I was just so scared. So to me, it was just like, things have gotten better with me when it comes to that. You know, I still have the same perception on the expectation of humans not probably liking me as I am, you know, and, that's just how I've always seen it. People are, at the end of the day, animals, and animals tend to, kind of like go off of your energy. They don't really go off of what you say or what your personality is. An animal can't even decipher what your personality is in many cases because it can't comprehend what you're saying when you speak. So I mean, like, if they can't even understand that, and I feel like sometimes with humans, they can't understand when you speak or what your personality is because they're so stuck on an energy or on some kind of thing they're picking up rather than who the person actually is. That to me, trying to convince an individual like that you're a different type of person than what they're thinking or whatever, it's futile. And so that's why I've never really cared to try to change anyone's mind on that in that regard. That's just my perception on it. Now, does that mean for me that I don't like humans? No, that doesn't mean that. I just think that humans don't like me. I don't think humans are bad people, if you understood what I'm saying throughout this video. I'm not saying that I think humans are bad people. I'm saying I think that they don't like me, particularly just me. And I've always felt like, well, when they don't see you, they understand and realize you're just like them too, you know. And, you know, like I said, I learned that by being on the phone and seeing that when people talk to me, they're totally fine with me. But when they see me, they're not fine with me. So it's not really about me as a person. It's not about my personality. It's not about getting to know me as a person. It's about basically, I guess, my aura or how I look or something along those natures. You know, but yeah, to me, it's just like, I don't really, I guess, because of my interactions on the phone, it's kind of helped me not have the perception of total negativity. And plus, to me, it's kind of like this: if you are a nice person to everybody else but one person in this world, are you really a mean person? Are you really a bad person? I don't think that person's a bad person. I don't think that they're actually someone who's mean spirited. They're just working within their capability as a human being who is naturally in tune with his animalistic instincts, basically. So that's just how I see that situation. That's all I have to say in this video. I understand it was long, and I mean, like, if people don't want to watch, I mean, that's on them. You know. But I wanted to explain basically why I run my channel the way I do. I never really expect a lot of subscribers, honestly, on my channel because of how I think of humans' predisposition. And I feel like humans' predisposition is going to be negative against me. So why would I ever expect a high subscription level? Now, view count. That's why I always talk about view count in respect to my channel. Because with my view count, I have nearly 200,000 views. And that's, a very high amount of views considering it's been not in 9 months, basically. No, 10 months. Yeah, it's been 9 months. It's going to be 10 months at the end of the month. But it's only been 10 months that I only had 30,000 views. So to me, from my perspective, it's like, well, this has to do with my hard work. This has to do with what I say. That's what it has to do with. Me having likability, I mean, at the amount of subscribers I do have a few subscribers, much more than I ever expected having, honestly. I mean, I've always expected to have maybe 100 subscribers and maybe more than anything having views that are maybe around 100,000. I always expected to have higher views because people do give me a lot of negative attention, for existing. So I always expected to have a good amount of views, This is why people always try and talk about monetizing a channel, Cash App, and things of that nature. I never expect to get any money out of my channel. That's not a thing for me. How could I ever expect to get money out of a channel if I really do believe that humans don't like me? No one gives money to someone they innately hate or don't like. Even if they innately hate that person, but they agree with what they have to say. They're not going to give money to them. They're not going to subscribe to them enough where they have an ability to monetize their channel. So to me, it's just it's not this is not to say that, there's anything against those people for their innate disposition. That's normal. That's how it is, But it's more along the lines of yeah. Sorry about that. Something happened. Anyway, um but it's to me more along the lines of, the person basically liking what you have to say to watch my content, And even if they don't agree with what I have to say, even hate watching for that matter. And to me, I mean, that's what has really helped my channel is hate watching, and got my channel as far as it has is hate watching. And I know I can gather a lot of hate from different types of people, because that's just a natural occurrence and a skill for me, basically. So to me, it's always been where I've always known people will watch and people will view my videos. And that's why a major part of my channel and a major pride of my channel is my views. And that's why I do my channels the way I do them, basically. Because, you can see a lot of other people will talk about their personal lives. In one way or another, they talk about their personal lives. I really don't talk about my personal life. Unless it pertains to maybe some video and I say something about my personal life. But I generally don't talk about my personal life. You don't know much about my personal life because I figure that's not something that anyone is concerned with. One, because, like I said, I'm not here for favor. I'm not here for that. I'm here for what we can see eye to eye with and to have a discussion on some topics that are, interesting, And I find this channel interesting to create content on because I like to talk about different things I think of those, you know, different topics, basically. And so, yeah, that's basically all I have to say on this. I really appreciate all my viewers, haters, and lovers for that matter. I will continue to make videos. Up until July 8th, I plan to make 5 videos every day. And I've been basically keeping true to that. If I miss a day, I always add more videos the next day. So then I catch up to being 5 videos every day until July 8th. So, um, that's basically all I have to say in this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe, and have a great day. Bye.